Oh my God, look at all the people in the chat. It's a busy night tonight. Look at all the people in the chat. How are you guys all doing? Let me bring the chat over here. Pop-up chat. Bring it in the window in front of me. RC Trail Critter, I did watch your video today about this particular subject. So if you want to jump in and talk about it, you're more than welcome. I think a lot of people are going to have different point of views and different things to say. I was talking to a couple guys today about this particular subject. Watched a bunch of videos, and I'm going to put a link also in the chat for people to go see this video. It's actually a lawyer, and he's the one that's spearheading the letter that people for them to stop or get more info, and for COPPA to actually give us more info on what is that they're looking for, because there's way too many things that could point to a certain video. So if you guys want to join in live, here's the link to join in live tonight. So let's see who's in the chat real quick. Participant. Bucks RC World's in the chat. Bill Crawl Bash is in the chat. GM's RC's in the chat. Particle Man's in the chat. RC Recreation is in the chat. RC Spark Studio is in the chat. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, RC.
And Trail Critter RC's in the chat. How are you guys all doing? Nice to have you here. And if Aaron can jump in, it would be great. We can have his input. It would be awesome. Hey, how you doing, GM's RC?
Hey, RC Sparks. I didn't know you joined the video part of it.
He didn't join the video yet. He's in the chat.
Oh.
Yeah, Aaron does show up once in a while. I think he showed up like 3 or 4 times so far in the chat. He's been on the video twice in RC Talk. So yeah, Aaron does show up once in a while. I think he like somebody's so far in the chat.
I could barely hear him.
Somebody's audio's coming through. I think it's you, Jim's RC.
I got mine off now, so.
Okay.
Hey, Aaron.
There's Aaron.
So good to see you, man.
Oh, no, you gotta select your mic. Go in your microphone and just select your microphone. Yeah, all good.
I'm hearing some static, Frank.
You're hearing some static. It's nice and clear.
Well, that's what I'm hearing here.
Hold on, because this is unique for me as well. You must be able to hear me, but then you guys are probably getting feedback from my microphone as well. So I'll mute me and listen to you.
Yeah, you mute the YouTube feed and you have to listen to this window. That's correct.
Totally cool. So I did mute that. I can only see you, Tank, there, and a window of me. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. How do I know when other people are talking?
You'll see them appear. Right now, you should see 3 of us in the video.
No, just you.
Just me. Okay,
yeah,
that's probably because scroll with your mouse on top. There's speaker view and there's gallery view on top of your screen.
Okay.
And the border around your picture also turns green when people are talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever Brad is speaking, it just comes up with a name on the screen that says Brad Kalman.
That is me. That is me. I've written to you many times, Aaron.
Cool. Did you find on that window, did you find on top right corner, there's a little icon?
No, actually, I've got maybe a different one. There's actually options along the bottom of the screen. Invite participants, share screen, chat, and then more. And then that's all there is.
Yeah. Because usually on that window, if you hover your mouse, There's a
Okay.
little icon that appears on top.
So when I hover my icon or my pointer over the window, it doesn't actually do anything except turn into a 4-pointer icon
That's
just to
odd.
move the window. Yeah. I'm on a Mac. Maybe it's just different that
Yeah,
way.
maybe the software is different on a Mac. That's odd.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second here. I'll try to.
When I look at mine, you go right up to the very top of the screen and it says gallery view.
Is it a Mac or a PC you have?
I got a PC.
Okay.
You can go
That's-
speaker, and then
that's the
it'll go
difference.
then it'll go speaker view right there.
This is JM's RC that's
Oh,
speaking right now.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Perfect. So you come up on the screen for me. You take up the whole browser window when you start speaking.
Yeah. There has to be a tab on the Mac. I'm not sure where it is on the map, but there has to be a tab where it says speaker view and also gallery view. Right now you're in the galley view.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. I do see select a microphone, same as system, and then built in. And then it says select a speaker, and it just says same as system. So it must
Okay.
mean the same as my computer system. So it must have nothing to do with you guys at all.
That's okay. We'll leave it at the galley view, at the view. We won't put it in the multiple view like that. Will stay in the same view you are.
Okay.
What this means is when we speak, our image is going to come up front, so you'll see who's speaking. We have a Troll Critter RC that just joined us.
Hey,
How are you, buddy?
not too
Hey,
bad. How's
Paul.
everyone?
And we had Brad Kalman that's with us also. And we have Paul also that's out of the hospital now and is joining us. How are you doing, Paul? No, your mic, you got to select your mic, Paul. You got to go to your menu and select your mic.
Geez, all of us seem like rookies here.
There's a bunch. It's like this at the beginning of every night sometimes.
Everyone, yeah.
Noobs.
So no one uses the Zoom chat then? We all just want to focus on the YouTube chat?
Yeah, what I usually do is bring the YouTube chat. You can actually do a pop out on the YouTube
Yeah.
chat and bring it in beside that window. That's what I do. And then I look at both windows.
Good, man. Okay, that's what I figured. Thanks.
So I'm going to start. I'm going to share the screen real quick, and I'm going to show a link into the chat. You guys can go watch this video a little later, but he's the one that actually spearheaded the thing that for people to actually go and go to what the heck's going on. This is a very scary video to watch because he does say a lot of good points.
Can I
about
interject?
What happens and if it is, yeah, go ahead.
I want to interject before you play this very well orchestrated, very well edited, very well put together fear-mongering video that everyone hasn't noticed that this particular video has been seen 180,000 times or whatever it is. Meanwhile, everyone else's videos have not really been seen. This fella reminds me a lot of Brian G. Johnson, who seems to have some insight into YouTube. And it's very interesting how this lawyer got this together very quickly for people to understand. And I want you to take note when if you show this part in the video, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but the way they do the jump cuts in this video and put things in like SWAT teams with their gun, bringing people outside, you know, and the whole fear-mongering part of this video, it sure seems very well orchestrated. I'm sorry.
No, I am actually not going to play any of the video. I put the link there for people to go see it, and they can decide by themselves. There's a lot of other videos that I've watched this week that people have made, especially people that have toy channels. That have Lego trains and
Yeah,
just
Jang.
their point of views of what's going on.
Yeah, Jang's terrified. You can see it in his face. You can see poor Jang, after a decade of being on YouTube and having to rebuild his entire empire again after the RC thing fell through for him, that you can see in his face the extreme stress that he's going through and having to worry about getting fined by the FTC a ludicrous amount of money, which I would like to say would be the ultimate last ditch effort the FTC would have. First, they would be sending you a cease and desist letter, from what I understand. I'm not a lawyer. I can't be giving any legal advice. I'm not entering into a relationship of advice giving here. I'm just saying, in my opinion, it seems pretty far stretch where the FTC has never in the history of the COPPA law ever charged any content creator ever with being in breach of this law. That law was meant to be at the top level, to be at, at website owners and designers and developers, the people that are collecting that data on the kids and doing whatever they're doing with it. That was to make them culpable and responsible, not the people that were creating the content and uploading it. That doesn't make sense to me, how the FTC thinks they're going to pay to criminalize all of these people and try to sue them. It's more fear mongering, in my opinion. Sorry,
and YouTube's letting them do it. So like,
yeah,
YouTube's the one
totally
pushing it. Yeah. It's a bit weird there, I would say, because we're not the ones that are in control at all of the people accessing the site. We don't know any data except that a bunch of old men like to watch RC videos. We do know that much. And, they say that, well, that's because they don't show you any data on people 13 or under. But we never knew, so they know that data. Somebody's got that data somewhere, and they've got to find a way that if they know that those kids are watching, well, then don't serve them up the ads or don't track it.
Yeah, because the law, the COPPA law, as far as I understand it, is to stop collecting data on the kids and what they do. Us creators don't collect data. So to me, it's like, okay, I'm just creating the stuff and I'm putting it on YouTube. Most of the RCs I play with or I do are meant for 14 and over. And it's written right on the box. But the way they've written the laws actually stipulate that if I decide it's kids content, well, what makes you decide that it is kids content? Because it's got an RC car? Like, come on, this is a $800 car. You don't want to see one kid going and pick it up.
Can I interject, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
I also saw that if you're not making money for them on YouTube, they're going to take you off anyway. So I decided to get rid of all my stuff because they're just next year is going to just drop me anyways out of YouTube.
Maybe.
So that's another thing. And I also think in my country, the FTC is attacking freedom of speech also.
Yeah. That's Daryl Leaves and those guys, those big YouTube guys. I mean, a lot of them are using this for views too. So, they're trying to get a lot of views with a lot of the COPPA stuff as well.
Correct.
So as I was saying, I also saw, you remember that guy Van's Vintage RC? He's dropped all his things out because his was geared with toys from the 80s that he grew up with, and he refurbishes the Tycos and other things.
Yeah. So then switch it to kids and see what they do. They're still advertising because, in my opinion, YouTube is going to know who and what is being targeted to kids under 13, and they can sell advertising for that space, just like Nickelodeon, just like Disney or anybody. People know what the content is on that channel, advertisers do, and they pay to have their advertisements put there. They don't have to track the kids. That doesn't have to be part of it, but that's a big market for people that want to advertise, is to children. Cereals, toys, all that kind of stuff has advertising value to children, and it doesn't need to be tracked or targeted in that kind of way. So I think that there's also money to be made for people like Jang and them. And I think we just kind of have to ride that wave a little bit and see. But I totally get the fear, man. I totally do, when it's your livelihood,
I'd like to remind everybody of if you're all old enough to remember, 19 years ago, Y2K.
Yeah.
And the airplanes were supposed to be falling out of the sky, and no one was going to be able to make a hotel reservation anymore. Just credit cards weren't going to work. And I think I'm seeing mass hysteria. I think I've seen a lot of scare tactics being used by both the government to try to control some of the issues they have of companies blatantly breaking the law and collecting the data on the kids and hiding their head in the sand saying, we don't know what's being made for kids on our channel, so we have to make the content creator more responsible for that. I don't see how that's going to play out. You know, if FTC sues somebody, that literally means that that person has to go to court. Now, that means in a court of law, they have to sit there and listen to the case from the FTC explaining how Mr. RC Sparks here, who's been on the platform for 11 years, making a show about a hobby that he loves so much that was never geared towards children, although I may not have the responsibility or the ability, the ability to see who my audience is watching. I've always been on the cautious side. I've never really cussed in my videos because that's just, I have a responsibility as a content creator on the platform to make content that I feel I would want to watch in the future, and I would want longevity out of it. So I've always maintained to remain in the terms of service and community rules. I've never even had a strike. And so for them to come out of the woodwork after instructing me for years, to be doing this, and then to have somebody else in the government say, oh, internationally, we're going to enforce this rule, then international affairs is going to have to get involved in this. Well, that means I'm going to put up a fight one way or the other, and we're going to go to court and we will fight. And then they'll have to explain how come I'm being taken down when we're all there just to entertain each other with a hobby that we found that passion with, you know? So I don't see where the case really is, because specifically, I never made my content to target children. It wasn't for that. And if they're saying child, like the child's interested in seeing it, or it's child directed, or the thumbnail is really cute, or it's got a great color in it, there's no end. There's so much ambiguous terms being used, or ambiguity, or however you want to say that, where it's so loose and vague. Lawyers will chew that up in court forever. There's no set rules for what they're trying to enforce.
I also wanted to say, when before I took them all off, I changed I changed two parameters they asked for that I saw that I'm for my phone, because that's all I do on my phone, because that's all I have. Is that when I put in not for 18, there was another one before the one that I don't want people under 18 to watch it, but there was another one up top, and I changed it. And then when I looked back again, it wasn't. They did, and I saved everything. I pressed the save button.
Yeah,
and it said show the first one. It still wouldn't show the first one. And that, and so I can't take that chance if it's not going to record what I want it to record.
Yeah.
And they're going to take us off anyways in January 1st for possibly eventually, because I'm not making money. I was up to 141, and then somehow I dropped 5 down to 136.
Well,
but
YouTube does
one day, and that's just not going to happen with what they're doing to everybody.
Yeah, YouTube does have the power. YouTube does have the power to change some settings on your videos. Like the guy was saying that, let's say you tag it as a non for kids, and YouTube says, no, this is a kid's video. And
you guys haven't had this happen already? Frank, you haven't had that happen? Like, I've already had videos that are automatically algorithmically marked as made for kids. My most video, with my son and I, Morris, like, was it viewed 82 million times? They went in and tagged that as made for kids. After speaking to my manager and after speaking to my lawyer, it is certainly not made for kids. It may have my child in it because it was part of my journey during my whole show, where it's unavoidable. It's not like I hired my kid to come and work for the show. My kid lives at home where I film the show. It's not intended for children, even though some children may get the views. There are parents online that openly admit, oh, hey, yeah, we broke the law because we're allowing YouTube, our kid, to watch YouTube. So in a roundabout way, isn't that kind of giving permission for YouTube to collect the data on them? Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, but you're giving, because it's your son, so you're allowed to give that permission for him to be in the video.
But if I show him and it's enticing other kids to watch the show, apparently that's But
The
if you
thumbnail,
listen to-
yeah. I mean, I did a live thing and I said that would be the one where I would question on your channel would be the boat one with your son, just because of the thumbnail, right? Little kids would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, look, dad, boat," you know. So
I agree.
That's my problem. All my videos have my son in it.
Well, but
it's
that's just fun. You know,
Yeah.
like that's what I will always stand in court and say, like, that doesn't make sense. Like, when did they say a child actor was your son? He's not hired.
Well, it's just us enjoying content, right? Like what we
Exactly.
like to do.
So for you to be in breach of COPPA, you have to know that you're in breach of COPPA. That's what we're getting from the actual lawyers that are out there. If you didn't know that you were making kids films, then how the heck were you in breach of it? No one's ever told you what a kids film was. How are you supposed to know what appeals to a 12-year-old and what appeals to a 5-year-old? They're saying the same thing.
well, it
You
goes
know?
back to cigarette advertising back in the like 90s and that, right? They were saying, "Oh, well, that's enticing kids." It's like it's not made for them, but it's enticing them. But I guess that's a negative thing for kids, right? Is it a negative for kids to watch RC videos?
I
Like,
think we fall in a gray area, and I think
Yeah.
that's why we're a great target. But just like people who collect Star Wars figures, just like people that make plastic figurines, you know, or let's just, of all things, let's just go out on a limb here and say, how the F can they mark South Park as made for kids? Under the law, they're doing that. I want to say that I don't think as a brand owner of, and it would be responsible of me to say that my content was made for kids when I know there's sexual innuendo put in there. It's like Shrek. It's made for adults and kids could see it if they happen to see it.
yeah.
It's got alcohol in it. It's got some cussing in it. Is it responsible as a company owner for me to say that that is made for kids? No way. It's not. It never was.
Yeah. It seems like they need a new check mark. Like instead of like the over 18, it seems like they need a PG-13 where we can just say this should be for parents to watch with their kids. But
You already did. When you signed up to this website,
Right,
you agreed
exactly.
that you were 13 years or older. So everybody that I uploaded to was supposed to be 13 years and older. So how the F am I supposed to control
Right.
Google and collecting its data? I can't. I've got no say in that. So
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not
not
a website
responsible.
operator.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I personally think kids shouldn't be watching YouTube because you can't watch every move they're making. So I personally think they should be locked out all the time.
Yeah. Facebook's way worse, man. When you roll a video
Facebook's way
after-
worse. There's
they
ways
need
to monitor your kid. There's ways to monitor your kids on YouTube. There's the history. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do. My son is 10 and he's watching YouTube all the time. Every
Is he
night,
on your
or
account?
every so one often, I go on his account that I created for him, and I go and I actually look at what he's been watching. It's all hockey. It's all Fortnite. It's all gaming channel. I'm looking at what he's watching just to make sure I answer the right questions to him.
You're the problem, Tank. I just heard it. You signed him up.
I made an
Right
account
there,
for
man.
me.
Stinking parents.
I made an account for me, for him
Right.
to use, and so I could monitor him.
Yep.
Because I did not want to have the history on my YouTube channel seeing what all the stuff he watched. So when I open up my YouTube, I have my stuff and not.
Did you know that you just admitted to openly breaking the law on video?
Yes, I did.
But
Well, it's not funny.
parents,
No, you're
parents
laughing, but it's
don't
not
always
funny.
do what Frank does.
But it's hard to like blame the parents because, like, honestly, my two kids, I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they could actually teach me on the technology. If they really want to find something, they'll find it no matter what. You can put all the restrictions you want, they'll find a way around it.
Yeah, they don't ask
Correct,
for.
but if
Yeah.
if you're targeting advertising at them, that's basically predatory behavior. That's why it's there to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And that's part of the problem is that, first of all, it should be the parents anyway, right? The parents should be keeping up with their kids, not the government keeping up with the parents or the people making the stuff that's on YouTube having to be responsible for parents that are not being responsible and watching what their kids are doing. And it's funny because it's about the advertising. So what's it doing? It's taking away actually good content for kids, right? That's the negative of COPPA, is that it's going to take away good programming that's child friendly and safe. Not even friendly, but it's safe for children to watch because of the way that YouTube is targeting people for advertising.
Yeah, but it's weird how YouTube is. YouTube, I find in the last couple of years, or last 5-10 years, not 10, but 5 years, has changed a lot. And I think they're trying to become more of a stream and trying to get rid of bad channels, or they're trying to make people pay for the content. That's why they got the YouTube Red and a bunch of other things. I think YouTube is pushing more that way and is pushing the content creator out of here. That's what I'm thinking right now.
I would always, sorry to interrupt, I would always say that YouTube has used opportunities like this to sandwich things together. They're going to use this, like you said, to, you know, a few days ago, they put out a post saying that we don't have the obligation to host anybody's video. That was a single post by itself. And then moving forward, they're like, we don't have to hold anybody's channel that's not commercially viable.
Yep,
So
that's what I'm
what
worried.
I understand why you're worried. Absolutely, I understand. And Tank, you're also right, where they're basically kind of squeezing the people out of YouTube. I'm surprised they call it YouTube still, but it's branded that way. You know, and I see that they're taking this opportunity to remove a whole bunch of content where they really didn't know how to remove that content before, because it would have been under their stipulation, not under the guise of a federal movement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're trying to me, that makes it sound like they're more in it for the money.
Well, they are.
It's a business.
But they're not letting anybody else get enough viewers to start making money. And that's wrong.
That's not true though, because there's people rising to the top all the time.
Yeah. But how long do they give them to start being viable? You know, because now it's harder to start in viable.
Yeah.
So for right now, we'll use me as an example. I just started a channel maybe a month ago. I got like 5 videos. What's going to happen? You know, I got maybe what, 40 people, subscribers right now. So I'm at the bottom of the barrel. So I'm wondering what that is. And like I said earlier, before this started, I watched Tony's break his Creighton. Congrats. And I watched,
not the flip scale.
Talbot, he had one video too, and on his he put a whole entire disclaimer saying these videos are not for anybody under the age of 14, and he's showing the boxes of all the trucks and this, that, and the other. Do all of us have to start doing that?
I don't think so. Anyway. I don't think it matters. That's exactly it. Is that it for you, maybe in the beginning, because that's something that's amazing, cool. But here's a very first example that I can give that comes to mind. It's my episode 1. You start playing RC Adventures episode 1 about the MGT monster truck. The very first thing it has is a disclaimer right in the beginning. As per YouTube copyright law, this song was made by Aaron Badachka, blah, 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 blah. Here I am 11 years later with the stupid video with this stupid disclaimer in the beginning that really isn't relevant today.
Yeah.
All my cars are all made. Most of my cars are all for 14 and over.
Hey, but it doesn't matter. It's just like the people saying they're going to swear so that it becomes adult content, and that doesn't matter. That's not.
No.
I accidentally sometimes swear I accidentally swear on mine, and that's another reason, because when something happens, like the car flips over or it's constantly flipping over, I may accidentally let something out like that, and I don't want to be caught for that, and for them to come after me for it. I mean, what really bothers me is kids are going to learn swear words inevitably. Why stop the inevitable is what I see. What I also say. I mean,
again,
it's all about tracking. It's all about data on children.
Yeah, but they're going to still find out.
They don't care. It's
like
the data.
The biggest thing, there's a lot of scaremongering about this. Nobody really knows exactly what. Like, this is a law that's been in place since 1998. you know, and now it's only starting to get a little bit enforced. And that's the biggest thing.
Well,
It
it's
was
changing.
revamped, Sean, it was revamped in 2013 as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. There's just a lot of scaremongering videos out there. Like until there's defined rules on it and defined like this is what is going to happen, there can be a million different theories. So it's like there's a lot
Yeah.
of people getting in panics for no real.
Well,
That's the
to say
scary
that
part.
is what, like, Aaron is in a different world of having to think about this than a lot of us are, because, you know, for me, it's just fun money for,
He's
you
an
know,
RC guy.
breaking
an
RC cars,
He's an
right?
RC
So,
god.
so it's different.
Sorry, what were you saying? I couldn't hear you over the sound of my slurping. That's good.
But I didn't know what to make of it because I can't take the chances because everybody in this place pretty much has a job. I don't. I'm on Social Security disability, but that's beside the point. But the idea, what also worried me more is that they're not going to allow me to get monetized. They're just going to remove me because I'm not up high enough to get that.
I don't think so. They're still going to have, unless they're completely changing their business model, which is what the FTC said they wanted to do to YouTube. And maybe that's under the guise of YouTube and a partnership. I have no idea. But all I can say is that they still have to give a creator a chance to be successful, or else YouTube isn't going to be YouTube anymore.
I've been here.
Yeah, it'll just be a different, platform altogether without the you. And poor you, I feel terrible for you. You're on disability and you have to live your life sideways like this all the time.
Yeah, your image is
No,
sideways.
I'm just in
Brian.
my bed at this time. I just decided not to go to my living room to be in my. I'm sorry, but
That's
I
better.
am on disability. Yes.
You're giving us
I-
a little taco neck over here, man.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry,
got a
Aaron.
stiff neck as it is.
No, but
Yeah,
I am, and I was hoping to make some money eventually getting into those ranks, but now I'm worried I'm never going to get there. And they dropped 5 subs out of mine. I mean, I know sometimes when they purge, you lose a couple, but not 5. Now that worries me. I was up to 141, and
Dude, that's nothing.
April.
5 is nothing. God,
JP Slayer is asking a question here. JP Slayer is asking, if I set my video to private, will that protect me, or will they have to delete them all?
again, we have no idea because we're not lawyers, and B, we don't work for YouTube. But if you're putting it on private, I would imagine that since it's not a publicly viewed video, that they wouldn't be deeming it marked for either way. But as soon as it is public, they're going to be marking it for or against either way.
Yeah, but what's the
Yeah.
point of going
Well, then-
private with it to save it? Like at that point, why not just market kids?
True.
Yeah.
Instead of making it private, you might as well just market kids.
They're not going to come after you if it is marked kids. If you market,
Listen,
well, that's the question. What happens when you're marketing them wrong as for kids and it's really not kid content? Like that seems
Again,
more of a slam, but that's not what they're going after.
let's look at it on a surface level. I absolutely agree with you. On a surface level, without all this depth, what they had to say in the actual agreement with the government was that they were going to implement some sort of system to make the creator responsible. Without some sort of fear tactic attached to that, why would the creator even care? So they would have to enforce it, or put the idea of enforcement behind that to make the creator act, number one. Or number two, look at how much time we've spent talking about it. Before, 0 amount of time. Now, 100% of the time, because we're all freaking out. They have mission accomplished their brainwashing. Now, on the surface, YouTube has met the agreement. They're saying, hey, okay, government, we paid the fine and now we've implemented this solution. Though it may seem inadequate, it's the solution. We've met that. Now the FTC goes, okay, well, YouTube's paid their fine and they've met that. Now they've paid their debt to society or whatever. And now we can, have some sort of leverage against people, bringing them to court and actually following through and explaining to the judge why this is going to be a good idea against Mr. Brad here is not going to make sense, because going after people, and forgive me, I'll use myself for example, going after people without the funds to actually pay a $40 million fine, you know, like, or I used exaggerated terms because of the
Yeah.
40,000, but you know, $4 million fine, let's say, they're going to lose money. They're not going to be able to take me. They're going to want to hit the heads of Google, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all these guys, because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
In some ways, and I'm very scared to say this, but the one person that is picked as a test case is going to go down in history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
then when
they'll
I
be
get
the.
to the face,
Now here's another point to this. Here we're all freaking out because we're playing or driving RC cars. What are the people that do the music and produce the music and all that? They must be really flipping crap out, because that's a lot of YouTube right there. Is a lot of music.
and we all know
If it appeals to kids, then technically that's made for kids. If shaking your badunkadunk is the thing, and you got a great flashy thumbnail with lots of cash in there, and some kid goes, "Oh, I want a necklace like that," who's to say that you are in control of what that child between 13 and 12 was going to click on? Like that, it just doesn't make sense. And that's when I filter it out. A lot of these things don't filter out properly. It doesn't make sense.
No, because
So
every
it has
kid
to
have every kid have their own taste. Like one kid might like astronauts, another kid likes something else. Like what says your content is actually for kids when there's so many taste in different things? It's strange. It's too wide open.
Trying to make us responsible for the parenting of other kids.
what the heck is that?
Wow.
John, was that the aliens again?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It switched between my computer and phone for some reason.
You have 3 screens, man.
Hey Sean, how many times are you in here?
Yeah.
It just
Bob Hog in the feed.
yeah, it just switched between the two of them. I don't know what the heck happened there. It's like, so I just shut the computer down really quick.
So
Regardless, if I'm gonna give you guys one last thought, because I know General Hobbies is in here. Shen RC, brother, what's up? All the way from the New Jersey, I think. General was hitting me up for comments and because he cares about his channel as well. He's worried and doesn't want like it's great that some of us are making a stand, but some of us are scared too. So I want you guys to know I am also concerned about what's going on, but I'm not terrified. And if RC Adventures, the train has to come to a stop, then the train finally has to come to a stop. I've gone way past what I ever thought I would anyway. And I just want to make sure that whoever's listening right now that needs the advice, just to hang in there and don't be fooled by all the noise, right? You don't have to listen to all the fear mongering that's going on. Learn to recognize when things are being manipulated to make you think somewhere, where people are trying to capitalize on something like this, where they're pushing out content right away saying, you know, you're going to be ruined, or our channel is ruined, or whatever. No one knows what the heck is going on. And so just give it a little bit of time to pass. And if you are worried about what the FTC is doing, it doesn't hurt to pick up the phone and to get a 5-minute consult with a lawyer, a social media lawyer, not just any lawyer. And it doesn't hurt to ask them, hey, listen, this is the situation. Obviously, people are talking about it. Do you know anything about it? And then they'll be able to talk to you. I'm not freaked out right now. It has consumed me, but not as much as I think as it's consumed Jang and some others out there. I have 1,500 videos. PewDiePie finally did a video on this as well. Go watch Pewds. He's a little bit confused as well because he's got 5,000 videos. He's supposed to go through and mark each one as made for kids or not. He's not a lawyer. How is he supposed to know? So I want us to all rest on the absurdity of what we're hearing right now.
I mean,
Yeah,
I may come back when things calm down. If I see no one's been sued yet, maybe I'll come back, but I still haven't. I've just removed my content. I haven't removed my channel. I just removed my content.
That's the worst case scenario. You could have put it all on private, or you could have put it all on unlisted for now. You didn't have to remove yourself. Remember, they're not going to come after a little dog. I don't mean to be rude that way. I don't mean to be pointing fingers, and I sound like an ass when I say that, but we are not their target market. giant heads are. And so don't give in to the fear mongering, because that's the way the media manipulates us. Remember that the reason you go to RC adventures and the reason that you're in the hobby is to escape a lot of the noise that we're unfortunately having to listen to now. Don't worry about all the extra stuff going on right now. Try not to listen, because just like anything else that's come and gone on this platform, this too will pass. Yeah.
I often wonder if it's like a TV networks in the back pocket at the FTC.
They actually have something with it, the media networks.
They're not
Yeah.
going to be hurt by too much of the revenue from YouTube, I don't think. But I think the main thing is staying unified too, right? And saying these aren't toys. Like when I did a video saying like don't cop out over COPPA, because everyone was freaking out, and I've gotten a lot of heat for it, saying I'm not taking it serious enough. And I'm totally taking it serious. I've watched all the videos, I've read all the articles, I've watched the original, because I wanted to know. And I think one, like you were just saying, people are trying to fearmonger. It's like the news, you know, you get views by scaring people. And, you know, I think it's too early to jump ship at this point. And so I think that more of us staying together and saying, hey, no, these aren't for kids. These are, you know, hobby grade. These are for older teenagers and not kids. Kids might want to. My kids are 10 years old. They don't care about RC cars.
Nailed it. Nailed
Care
it.
about it. They'll watch the Lego videos. They love Jang. I had the first time I'm like, who is that? And I'm like, dude, that's Jang. Like there's this, you know, my kids were watching his Lego videos on our TV, you know?
He's like for one of the first people I watched on RC stuff.
Yeah, but they don't care about the videos. They'll go out and play with them and have fun. Let me record them using them, but they don't want to sit and watch RC content on YouTube, especially talking about the details, you know, like how to fix them and all the different motors and KVs. And I mean, that's at a different level than children. So
okay.
Anyway.
My
video, man.
6-year-old wants a Traxxas Max now because of Morris.
Right.
I had to get him a Sport. Now I got to get him a Max.
Nice.
Because I wish I had a Traxxas back.
It's awesome.
And we have Pusa Studio with us. How are you doing?
Hey guys, good to see you all.
Hey, Pusa.
Join the.
What's your input on this?
Oh God, right to the slaughterhouse for me. Okay. Wow. It's you guys are going to the exact same thing that all, because you know our channel's kind of that mishmash of all different niches. And you guys are like every other hobbyist niche. And this is exactly what's painted by. Tony's making a great point. You know, same with model trains, everything. It's not kids for the most part watching. I mean, the average layout is $40,000. You guys' cars, I know, go up in many, many hundreds. It's not like 10-year-olds are buying them.
Thousands.
Thousands, exactly. It's a ton of money. The hardest part with all this is, and I agree with Tony, by the way, good to see you, Tony. We have gone through lots of these things. It's apocalypses, you know, we always tell people come in like the sky is falling, not to panic, you know, wait to see where this goes. Usually it changes. I'm a bit more reluctant to do that this time for the simple reason it's the first time in history that actual money is involved as a penalization. I'm a little more telling people you should be a little more guarded and not wait for you to define them and start looking at your stuff and seeing what blatantly looks like I can fall into it. Just for the simple reason, because none of us, even 42,500 is a scary number. And let's face it, usually that's
the maximum. I'd like to say that's the maximum.
Exactly.
That's for serious.
That's the scare number.
But
that's the scare number.
You have 10 of your videos get hit at $300 a piece, even. Okay, I'm just taking a very basic one. That's still $3,000. You know, it's still for most of us are not making that kind of money to cover even the more basic of fines that could come out of it.
But that means you already had to go through a court system and you had to be found guilty by a judge and then fined $3,000.
That's right. And you know, in the end, most likely a lot of that's going to back down once it comes through. And they're most likely going to go after a bigger creator and this will get fought. It's just they're more at stake. So I'm less reluctant to just kind of sit it out at this point. I am advising them more. I don't want to use the scare tactics either. I don't want, you know, oh my God, you're going to. But just to think more and stuff that's blatant, like for us, we don't do much kid stuff, but we do have our vacation ones we're out with our children. That we've automatically marked. If you can, I was trying to find a.
But is it a kid specific vacation location? Because if it's not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you
but
are the consenting adult for those children, and they can be in your video. So I studied, like, I have a master's in communication here in the U.S. And you have the right, and even with child actors, if you have the right paperwork, it's okay for you to have them in your movies. But again, are you putting them in your movie because you want to attract children, or are you putting them in because
I agree
for your story?
Yeah, so the focal point onto it, their argument seems to be that, you know, if children are into it, children are more likely to watch because there's children there. That seems to be their argument towards it.
But if it's not in the title and they're not in the thumbnail, then
yeah,
you know, and that's the thing, they're really getting us on little things with the way that they're wording it.
But we never had to worry about on YouTube before. You know, I studied for designing for children years ago, and I mean, that was part of it, and it's a huge hassle if you do television. That you know as well, Tony, for communicate with kids. There's skin tone colors. There's all kinds of different grading. Nothing's left to chance. But we never had to deal with that kind of stuff on YouTube. We have been lenient, and yes, years ago, if they had dealt with it when it first came out, made a YouTube Kids, specifically enticed channels that do it to solely be there, and then said, listen, we've done our part. If they end up on here, it's their own fault, and not take the information like we're doing, we wouldn't be having this today, because it's kind of ridiculous when it's all said and done. We're paying for their mistake big time. We're the ones on.
But again, they've drawn awareness to it now, and we are talking about it.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah.
And it's years late. You know, this should have been done 5 years ago before the FTC had to step in, and that, you know, there were enough information there. Sorry.
Yeah, but the worst thing is the worst thing I find is that we're not guilty. It's YouTube that actually was spying on people. They still are. They're spying on everybody and trying to get the algorithm of what you like and all that. And they're the one that are targeting, and it's their fault, and we're paying for it.
Big time. The whole platform.
But you've agreed to that when you signed up for the terms of service. That's something you agreed to. That's the problem is that with the kids and with the YouTube's basic thing is that their head has been in the sand, as I said earlier. They've been able to say, listen, we already put COPPA in place. The kids aren't supposed to be on the website. We don't know that they're watching. That's it. Now there's just culpability. But just like you said earlier, this should have been done years ago.
Yep. And we wouldn't probably be paying this price right now. Yeah. I did a live stream the other night. I've been saying since last year, and I got some flack for it, but I'm okay with it. At this point, I would pay to be on YouTube. I would like to pay something like $2,000 to become like a freelancer for them, where I'd have to audition under the terms of service, that I would start being protected by them and not just left to them. Because right now, when we go on here, you're right. Those terms of service have nothing to do with us in any shape or form. It's only to protect YouTube, and we're just collateral damage to the point we're even being responsible now for their errors. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would want to audition. They would have to market me better. They'd almost have to bond me that I'm okay. They wouldn't be giving me yellow.
You can't afford it. Yep. You can't afford the amount that you would have to do that for them to agree, because you'd have to have an ongoing payment solution with them just to put man hours into you.
I agree. Let
alone the network.
Yep. But even like a $2,000 for a year or something like that, just to get you started, anything just to give you some sort of lead, I would pay it. I would. Because I find I spend more time dealing with YouTube's problems and trying to work around them, and the problems that the platform has had in general, versus like we did the release on the 40 pages of words you can't say on YouTube. Like videos can be what's that?
I heard
what are those?
Is one of them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say. I don't want to get into, like, I mean, abbreviation for a city is one of them. A brand of toothpaste is one of them. I mean, you could make videos that could go viral, but they won't. They'll be shadow banned just for using words that I mean, it's ridiculous. At least that way they'd have to protect you in some shape or form, because we got nothing out of this right now.
But don't you think a part of this could be a bit of their scaremongering to force people into a paid prescription? Like that's a bit of the point too. Like, you know, because they're pushing their YouTube TV, they're pushing that stuff. So it's like they realize there's money to be made in paid prescriptions. So they're pushing a lot of scaring to get people, hey, you know what? If you sign up for this, then you'll be such and such. So it's like, it's a lot of people making huff and puff for.
Well, yeah, and if people get left, I mean, it actually makes YouTube
until everything's defined, you know.
it's not that they care, like, the creators. I know everybody wants to go back to the Kumbaya 2006, 2007. I mean, it was a great time, but it was also making no money. To them, every time somebody leaves, they're probably as happy as hell because it's one less problem on their hands. They're just filtering it out, and we're becoming the only ones that really get any leeway on here now is the ones from network television that they just implanted a couple of years ago. Ellen and Jimmy Fallon and them get free reign of the place, and the rest of us are under. Like, even forget us, think of channels 5, 6, 7 million. Linus Tech Tips with 30 some employees and all that. They have the same contract with YouTube as us. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Their whole life is.
They have representation though by a bigger company than they also like for.
Yeah, but there's still nothing like concrete into them. Think of if you had like a business like Air Ducts, and it's nothing stable. It's nothing really protective of their, for the amount that's invested into it. You talk about on a whim and a prayer.
RC Propaganda in the comment section says that YouTube wants the control and power, and they don't want the control and power. They have always had the control and the power. That's been it. They don't need more.
Mm-hmm.
The $170 million fine is basically like $170 fine to them. They make that in 14 hours at Google. That's like a sick day for them.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That's just an agreement to get it paid. That's the biggest they've been able to come up to date, but it's nothing. Like, there are questions over YouTube that we all haven't understood for the longest time. And you know why? It's because it's just like the universe. We're all too small to really understand what's going on in the big room.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. And we're never going to be allowed to know because we're peons.
That's right.
Peasants don't get to know.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. And I got to tell you right now, and I know that some of you will be pained to hear this, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound callous about this, because every one of my active subscribers is important to me. But subscriber numbers don't mean jack shit. They don't. Unless you have active people coming to see you, how is it that we get 60,000 subscribers a month, but our video views never go up? That doesn't make sense. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because YouTube always has had the power. They put who's at the top because it's political. It's who's making you money. That's why.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't use Fiverr to get views for your videos, but you can pay Google advertising to have it put as pre-roll, and those count as views for your videos, even if people don't watch. So you can drive up your view counts as long as you're paying Google instead of Fiverr, right? So
maybe we all make a union together, so we all get a share in a little bit, depending on our size of our channels, but everybody gets money from it.
Well, that's what in Germany they were looking at doing. That's kind of that movement and that going after them, suing YouTube for it. I think that's why I thought of freelance versus going, because I know they'll never go for it. But yeah, if there was any chance to try and get in that way.
I like the idea though for Aaron's channel to keep it not kid friendly with like the Naked and Afraid Ice Road Truckers or something like that.
Wow, shame on you.
I saw that.
You want a little bit of this? You want a little bit of this action right here?
I saw that comment, man. I was cracking up so hardcore when I saw
what YouTube Red is.
You don't want to see Sluice Fox Steve with his shirt on. I have a hard enough time blocking out the butt crack most of the time. And if he's watching, he's laughing because he knows.
I think all of us RC guys should be unionized so we can protect our own.
Yeah.
Dude, they've been talking about unions.
The FCC. I'm being serious.
Unions work for a little while, then they drive everything.
Listen, I live in New York. I live in New York City. Unions are the most corrupt people of anybody.
Yeah, we're from Detroit, man. Same thing.
Yeah,
I see corrupt people here with us.
Well, it probably benefited Steve-O some if he was in it for a while, but yeah.
I've been part of unions where I worked at grocery stores, but that's not what I. But I bet maybe we should do something that keeps us all together and we can fight as one against them.
Sign the petition, man.
No. Again, let's look at the reality of this, okay? How about we look at the petition let's talk about something they could have actually changed. Who's been around long enough to remember when they came out with the new interface when let's say when I could upload a background to my channel. Do you remember those days?
Oh yeah.
I could upload my own picture as a background and have little tabs you could click to go to my forum and all that kind of stuff. Guess what? They decided to change it to the Google platform. It was called Panda. That was going to be their new thing. It was going to be white YouTube, just white. Everyone's page was going to be looking the same. Guess what they started? A petition. Wow, amazing. Let's sign the petition. Everyone signed. Guess what? Nothing, because YouTube has the power.
Yeah. Well, the petition I was talking about was to the FTC.
I know, man. I know. But guess what? 1 million people signing the FTC petition sounds altruistic and lovely.
Yeah.
But
I got to tell you one thing. YouTube is not going to get into my head. I have my helmet to protect me.
You're not helping our case.
From aliens and from YouTube to get into my head right now. So it's all good.
Close to his keeps that thing close.
They're out there, man. They're out there.
They're out there.
Come on.
I think you killed the conversation there, Tank. Good job, buddy. You blocked everyone's thought waves.
That's good.
What were we talking about again?
I think we were talking about naked and afraid ice road truckers and what that would be about.
Oh my god!
I don't think anyone wants to see Crazy Joe like that.
I gotta go on record right now and say the reason ice road truckers has not happened is because it is close to impossible to get the perfect scenario to get ice that's flat enough for a truck to actually drive that has no snow. It is impossible to do. And I've even gone as far as to think of how would I get heat tape pre-laid out on a surface outside where we could heat up a sheet of ice and have like a floating, like trying to go. It ain't gonna happen, boys.
You have to rent an arena. You have to be able to rent an arena and use it on an arena floor.
Yeah, but think about what you're saying, man. How am I supposed to get a shot under the ice?
Oh yeah, to get a shot under the ice. Yeah, true.
Loading wars on ice.
Just a truck driving on hockey rink.
Yeah, you just have to get a scratched up piece of plexi and put a camera under it and do a fake shot and just
nice.
Just fake it.
Good thinking, little James Bond action.
There is a stuff they use in model trains for making water in that's translucent. Maybe you could use that across it on plexi. And
I love that idea in the middle of the Alberta prairies where I have no neighbors because I'm so close to civilization. I do love the thought tank. Though.
Loading wars on ice. Loading wars on ice, Aaron.
We have also considered that as well. But again, when we have inconsistencies in the ice and the weather, you're dealing with kind of electronics when it's really cold and the batteries are small.
And too many plastics, right? Too many plastics.
Yeah. Well, you guys know as well as I do, plastic outside is brittle.
About changing subject a little bit, driving 2 trucks at the same time. We have somebody here that actually does that, and he actually did it with 3 trucks, I think, eh?
Yeah, thanks to Aaron. That's like one truck now is boring. He changed the way crawling's done forever. Like, you know, it's like
what's the total trucks you had? 3 trucks? Yeah. What's the max you did? 3?
Yeah, just 3, but you could do more because they actually just keep multiplying. All you have to do is put a servo reverser on, and then one will operate the servo reversers too. So, but it's like most of the times I go out now, it's with 2 trucks because one truck now is just like, okay, so I can do that line, but the hardest part of it is like trying to remember which truck is on. So when you're getting into which line, like so.
Now, can a 10 or 12-year-old figure it out and actually do it?
Yeah, they could. Yeah, it's really simple. Like, yeah, it's really simple.
Hey, you're ruining the wizard behind the curtain here. It's terribly hard, guys. If you're lucky if you're gonna get one to link up to another.
Yeah.
I would like to see you do that as a joke on Loading Wars, and everybody's like, "Hey, I didn't want this to do this. I didn't want."
Oh no, that's gonna be one of the penalties. Believe me.
Yeah, reverse.
Yeah, they wouldn't run 2 vehicles, right? At the same
Correct.
time.
Yes, Loading Wars is going to be spectacular this year, guys. As long as YouTube doesn't fire me. See how it goes. We've got a really good season planned out. Lots of neat things. I'm having trouble with that forklift already, though. I tried to do the hydraulics today, and
the one you
I must have. No, I've been building a hydraulic forklift from Lesu, and I was trying to finish the hydraulics on it today, but just like the excavator, I'm having problems with the hydraulic block where I can't, it's almost like I'm not getting a proper return, and the fluid comes out and then it gets blocked like on the return back to the block, and
like a thermostat not working right.
Kinda. Yeah, kinda. It's kind of like more like pneumatics. If you had like, or let's just say straight up hydraulics, you have fluid go out, it goes to the piston, it pushes in one side of the piston. Then there is another one that also goes out and in that allows the piston to come back in. Well, if one of those valves isn't working properly, you get a pump that's pushing, but then one of the valves is closed and the pressure gets pushed against the valve block, and then you blow a line. So with the Lesu stuff, just like any awesome Asian company out there, not saying anything other than I built a billion kits here already, you get really great pictures most of the time, but no real English instructions on how to set things up. So it's like trial and error. And wow, it can be a bit of a challenge.
That's 2 for 2, huh?
I'm wondering when you're going to get the 5th scale ARMA soon.
The 5th scale ARMA?
They have a 5th scale ARMA in the Creighton. They made a Creighton that's 5th scale.
Oh my Lanta, I gotta see that for sure.
Watch the
it's bigger than the X-Max.
Yeah, it's been flooding.
Wow.
You need to watch RC
It's
Sailor.
wider than the X-Max. It's not taller than the X-Max.
Tony's
Not
got
longer
it.
than the
Wider.
Wider.
Okay.
Tony bounced his off a tree.
Yeah, Tony already broke his.
You broke your
Just don't
ARMA?
move. It's not broken. Broken's such a harsh word.
No.
Would you,
He bounced it off a tree.
It's missing a pin. And
Yeah, it's ARMA tough until you crash it.
well, it's 30 pounds into a tree.
But I know Aaron loves the big stuff, and so I know Creighton's gonna be the 5th scale. Creighton's gonna be on his list to get and put on the video.
I want to come up there for the big dirty. I want to bring my 5T up there.
I would love to have an actual planned event, but where I live, and part of the problem is that because I live on the open bald prairie, I see weather patterns move in and out of here, and they can be quite extreme, and they can literally flood my track in less than 15 minutes, and it'll take a day and 2 days to dry it out. We've had events canceled, and I would hate to plan something and have people drive all the way out here and then not be able to run. But Crazy Joe said, fuck it, let's just run it anyway, right? Like if it's rain,
That sounds like
screw
Crazy
it.
Joe.
Yeah, well, that's Crazy Joe too, right? But there's a lot of guys that spend a lot of money on their 5th scales. They don't want to have their clutch in the mud, even though you need to have a wet track to run. You know, it's kind of, you got to dry it enough to run.
I know that it's $30 less than the X-Max, the new Creighton 5th scale.
Same price.
Nice.
The same price, the X-Max.
Oh, I heard it was $30 less.
Would anybody like to tell me how slow my raminator is?
No,
Time to stand in
it's
front of it.
wicked for a scale, man.
Yeah.
It's exactly
Man,
what it should be.
There's one thing I forgot to communicate in the second or third video. It's probably the third video. I was driving with one hand, and I remember saying I'm driving with one hand in the video. My hand was literally shaking. Do you remember what it was like when you got your first real RC and it was like super exciting and you're kind of shaking because it was so fast?
Yeah.
Same thing happened to me with the raminator, and I didn't, because I'm so used to being on camera, I didn't even really communicate that, hey, like I'm shaking with excitement. It is so large. When you guys get a chance to see it in person, you're going to be like, oh, like it's like 4 X-Maxes.
Yeah, I seen them the other day. They were out in their parking lot testing the 4-wheel steer, because their shop is like 10 minutes from my house, not even. Like
perfect.
That 4 steer is perfect on those big ones too.
They're out testing the rear wheel steer and everything on it, like too. So
I hear you can't get the raminator up to 30 miles an hour.
It doesn't matter. It's
Why would you want
it's
to?
like it's like the big 5th scale X-Maxes. They're like, oh, it only goes 40. I'm like, it will kill you.
He'll kill you, fly into you.
The rotating mass on the raminator itself, just the tires, like we've seen the IMAX, like, or the whatever, what's the biggest tire we can think of? The Jumbo Kong?
Creighton?
Yeah. What's the one on the Lucy 5th monster? What's that one?
That was off the electric low C DVXL or whatever it was that Everett had them. They were off of the monster truck, whatever that was.
Oh,
MTX.
Dude, the Raminator tire is like that big, not
like a
kidding.
spare tire
It's
for a
bigger than your
Prius.
head. Much
It's
bigger than your
it's
head.
It's like a scooter
it's
tire.
and you're running 4 of them on that one engine. I've had literally, and you guys know how we all exaggerate, so not exaggerating, I've had about almost 4 tanks of gas through that engine. It's got a huge gas tank. It runs for like an hour. That big machine runs for an hour. Now I've put about 4 tanks through it. Guys, it flipping rips. It rips. And now here's the problem with it. And I kind of agree with why the company did it. Number one, it's a $150 engine that runs that entire thing. $150 for an engine? We barely get a nitro engine for that cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number two, after ripping 4 tanks of fuel through it, by the 5th tank, that thing is going to be so fast, super fast. The only thing I notice is that because I'm an experienced user and I have a racetrack, I would like to pull a wheelie with it because it's a monster truck. A monster truck should be wheeling it, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know when I put the TMR performance engine in the coming weeks here, that it is going to be so dangerous that my kid will have to be up on the patio because I won't let him out on the yard when that truck is running around.
I hate to do this, but I'm going to disagree with you on one point.
Yeah.
Do you see monster trucks wheeling? Do you see Gravedigger pulling a wheelie? They got to slap wheelie.
Yeah.
You got to slap it.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. Right out of the gate, they should be like, wow, with their nose up, not like with their tires up, but with their nose up. You know how the suspension
Yeah, it
limits
should sit.
right?
Yeah, sit
Yeah,
back.
but as soon as you hit something, you should be able to pull up with the rip, right? So the TMR engine will now allow you to do that. In fact, what I think I'm about to see is an engine that will have about twice as much horsepower.
Nice.
What's the size of the new engine?
I saw the TMR one when they brought it down to Digger's Dungeon and they were running that one. So that's the video I have is at Dennis Anderson's. They were running the modified or the new engine for it.
Yeah.
And that thing had some get up and go.
What's the CC on it?
You're gonna have to put your kid on the RC stand when you do your 5th scale racing. That's what's also put him there too.
True. Yeah, if YouTube lets my kid be on the show anymore, but I'll tell you, he just wants to be a part of the action, right? He doesn't care if he's on the show. He just wants to be a part of the group, and that's what's the best thing about being a dad, right? And so
I can vouch for that.
He doesn't want to be on YouTube Gold. Like he hasn't been asking to be on YouTube Gold. And part of the problem is, and dads out there will understand this, but normal viewers may not, and I wouldn't have understood, is that, let me put it to you this way. Last year we had him in Loading Wars. We were going to have him compete on Loading Wars. He made a joke and the other guys thought it was funny. My kid was 5.5 years old. The other guys laughed. They all thought, he thought they were all laughing at him. So he wasn't emotionally stable enough to be in a sarcastic environment. He would take it personally. So that's, and that's why you guys, and I want to say this to anybody that's watching this video in the future and you have kids. I never have my kid on camera if he doesn't want to do it. That's the thing. If he doesn't show interest in it, then why? I want it to be fun for him too. And if he's not feeling it, he's going to let me know I'm not feeling it, Dad. And then I just don't do it. It's my gig. It's always been my gig to do, right? So
that was we had a lot of channels come on, family channels, and you can see some of them are great, don't get me wrong, and some of them I feel so bad for the kid. They're getting out, and it's like the new basketball thing. We're gonna make $1 million. Here we go. Get in front. You're gonna like this. It's gonna be fun. And the kids you can almost see they've done 10 takes. The kid is nervous as hell.
Yeah,
you can turn them into the Jackson 5, right? A lot of these YouTube families.
Oh, it's unbelievable. That's why I hated the 4K 1K so much, because it created a whole new gold rush. And there's where I seen a lot of kids paying the price for it. Their parents throwing them into this.
That has nothing to do with COPPA. Like that doesn't address that. They're not addressing any of the actual evils with children content and stuff. Yeah.
That was my argument with everything comes in the same with COPPA. It's the gray areas that are always going to suffer the most. The scams are already on to the next scam. The ones that are doing it, they can cover themselves. It's always the one, and I know for us, when we always get these channels come in after these things happen, I don't know what happened. They just did my channel down. I don't know what I did wrong. And it's 2 videos that they did so unintentionally. But the ones that would have like Superman farts on Elsa and that, the Bradbury bunch, they're on to they're already gone. They've scammed the hell out of this. They're already on to the next thing. They don't pay.
There's a woman who did the same thing, and she became a millionaire doing these types of things.
There's a lot.
You know what? Things,
girl, something like that.
I hate to say it, and I'm not advocating for any of this, but we all see in the world that yin and yang exists. We're always going to see something start, and this is how it starts in humanity. It seems to be in history. Most things start altruistically, which means for the betterment of humans. And then as that generation dies, the next generation finds a way to manipulate it, like TV. TV was manipulated right out of the gate. They had Lipton tea commercials. They had, when the shadow knows, and they'd always be in, and they figured out that people were starting to listen. And that's when the people in the know knew that they had control.
Yeah, but it's true though, because there's a lot of Irish products in America that I never even heard tell of in my life until I came to America. I was just it was a way of selling the stuff. Hey, this is Irish spring soap.
I was just thinking.
Yeah, it doesn't even exist in Ireland. It's like, what the hell? Never even heard of it till I came to America. So it's just ways that people were like, hey, you know what? Let's throw a tag on it and we'll make money that way. So
my wife is from Latvia, Eastern Europe. Every time I go over there, every bottle of whiskey is Canada's best, Canada's finest, Canada's greatest. I've never seen one of these in my entire life. Never even. We're the worst bunch of drunks, I think, according to them, they have ever seen, because we're over it everywhere. Every label got it.
Yeah.
Hey,
gotta give a shout out to Particle Man and Bucks RC World. They're chatting it up there, and the RC Mask Master and Gem City RC Outlaws. Thanks for hanging with us, guys, while we all talk about this stuff. Sorry for the interruption.
Hey, Aaron, your son's a natural at crawling, man. He was a natural right out the gate.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to be like out driving you by next year. And I'm like, that's the fucking point.
Yeah.
I'm getting old. A lot of adults. Better than a lot of adults.
My son makes me look stupid sometimes. He's like, I'm not recording you no more.
How old is your son?
It all in his mind.
I crash into trees.
How old is your son now, Aaron?
He just turned 6 at the end of October.
6, yeah. That's what I thought.
6, man. Can you believe already? Everything just kind of just goes by.
Yeah, because I remember when he was born, I was chatting on the video, and anyways, you came on and there was some chatter, and my son has just started RC driving because he was 3 or 4. So he started when he was 2 years old driving the RC. And when he was 4, he was crawling with me, and he was out crawling everybody, and he was walking and singing and going, la, 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 la. Like it was so cool to see.
Sounds a lot like his dad.
Hey, you guys watch Remote Attic? You ever watch Remote
What
Attic?
is sad about that now is he does it less now. Like now he's 10 and he's going to turn 11. He does a little bit less. His attention is moving somewhere else. But I know I'll bring him back. I'll bring him back slowly, but his attention is going away right now.
Yeah.
You guys don't remember
Yeah.
Remote Addict. He has his 4-year-old on one of his videos recently, and the only thing that irritates me is she doesn't use reverse when she was stuck on something. That always bothers me. But she seemed very good at how to handle the car going forward. She ran it at a very fast pace, and it was still she was good at it.
Cool.
She was good at it. You have to look up Remote Addict. Addicted. Remote Addicted is what his name is.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he had his daughter on there, and she's very good at driving the car.
Yeah, he makes some great video.
Yeah, all my kids are interested in is like the slides, studio art, anything that goes fast, but they can pull the trigger and it'll go. That's all they're interested in. Trying to get them crawling, they're like, no, Daddy, this is way too slow. Like it takes too much time and patience. Like someday you'll get there. Like,
Well, he is interesting a little bit in the drifting. He's starting to look into the drifting right now. So I think I'm gonna set up a rear-wheel drive and getting a module on it, and for him to do some real drifting with with the car. I think that's what is going to be his next step. Drifting.
Okay, on my last note, guys, I'm going to say thank you for having me on here today again to talk
Coming
about
on
all the
here.
fun stuff.
We love
I'm
you
gonna-
here, man.
Thanks, guys.
It was a real
Appreciate
pleasure.
all the support.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
Well,
Fellow
thanks a
Canadian.
lot for coming in. I really appreciate every
Glad
time
having
you
a
drop
live
by.
chat with you, man.
Good
I
stuff.
appreciate,
Yeah, thanks,
I
man.
appreciate you guys too. I do. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Enjoy the night.
Thank
All
you.
right. Have a good
Aaron.
one.
Hi, Aaron.
Do well.
That was awesome to have him here.
Yeah.
So, Tony, you going to tell us about the conspiracy of how long that armor was actually in your garage?
Yeah, no shit.
That's a conspiracy in itself.
Yeah.
Notice
Well,
I
you-
stopped talking about it. Like I remember that I signed the NDA with them, and then I literally came on to RC Talk, and Tank's like, "Well, let's ask Tony what he thinks about this picture
I know, yeah.
that
and
was
then you
leaked." And I'm
changed
like, well.
Meanwhile,
And
it's
then
sitting behind him.
luckily, Tank and everybody else was like, I don't know. Look at the shadows here.
Yeah, because you changed the subject really quickly. Like, no.
Yeah, he did.
That thing looks like it handles very well, better than the X-Max.
I'd say it's pretty close.
Their
They're
video was
different.
good.
They're different for sure. They both break at Ipswich, though. That's one thing that they have in common. That Ipswich can break them. But yeah, I mean, I think I got it a little over a week ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe. Or I found out. I don't remember when it came. I should remember something like that, but it's been over a week. So I went to Gravediggers with it last week.
Now, when you opened it and looked at it, did you do like Aaron and start shaking because it was so nice?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, that whole intro was real. Like I opened it and seeing it for
Pleasantly
the first
surprised.
time was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty awesome to see.
I like that color too. That's the color I would go for, that green.
Yeah, most everybody went for orange. I'm not seeing it though. Like,
I like the green. Yep.
yeah, the orange is kind of like a burnt orange in my opinion. It's not like a bright, but I can't tell. It's hard to tell with video and pictures.
Yeah.
So
The bright green is bright.
So when are you going to get the big monster truck like Aaron's got?
Well, I might get it in this next batch, honestly. I actually was trying to source an electric one. They had Hess machined axles, fifth scale axles, and those are like $700 a pop. So I started talking with Bari because he makes chassis for them that are cut out of aluminum. Bari's
but I'm
the
talking
driver
about the
from.
Raminator. When are you going to get a Raminator?
I know, that's what I'm trying to decide.
Okay.
So I was looking at electric ones, and because they just have so much torque and like popping the wheelies and that kind of stuff. So Bari, who's the monster truck driver for Zombie, for Monster Jam, he makes fifth scale custom electric vehicles using low-C parts and his own custom chassis and all that, and then these beautiful machined axles. But so it's gonna be $700 just to buy the axles, and then trying to find out the cost of the rest. And I'm like, I'm gonna piece this together, and like it's gonna be probably more than the Raminator, which is so beautiful. If you've seen the craftsmanship on that thing, the metalwork on it is next level. For $3,000, it's well worth it when you compare it to the stuff that's $1,500 and doesn't have any of that type of metalwork in it. So
well, you got to realize also that like I mentioned that a long time ago when that Raminator came out. The rotational weight of those wheels are so crazy, and like if you put an electric motor on that or put something that has a lot of torque, that's when thing breaks. That's when dry shaft breaks, and something has to give when you're trying to make that big wheel stop,
right,
or pop a wheelie right off the start. That's a lot of rotational to actually and torque to actually handle. You got to have good stuff.
yeah, so I'm trying to wait and see, because these Spectrum motors in that low-C DBXLE, that could push one of the fifth scales like Bari and them have. And I think they used the old low-C wheels that they sold, because low-C had that monster truck that was a gasser. It was independent axles, but yeah, I kind of keep wishing, or low-C killed that. I really wish that low-C would come out with a fifth scale solid axle. That would be game changer, even if they sold it for $2,000.
The Raminator
you've driven
more, isn't it?
The what?
It's more quarter scale because I know it's bigger than fifth. I've seen it against fifth.
No, it's true fifth. Everybody else fudges their numbers.
So you've driven the Arma and you've driven the X-Max. Which one handles better? Not which one you like better, but which one handles better in the air.
Well, the Arma handles awesome in the air because you can't flip it. It's so heavy, it flies just straight. I mean, it's like a truggy. It's like a race truggy. The weight of it and the gearing that they have in it, I mean, you just hit it and it's, you know, the only thing you might do is you might nosedive something, but like going backwards isn't really an option because of, I think, the weight.
Have you tried front flip or back flips?
I tried front flipping it. That's when I landed on the wing really hard. You guys haven't seen that. Footage is in my speed run video that I'll probably post tomorrow.
I'm surprised it doesn't have a wheelie bar though.
It doesn't wheelie.
Yeah,
it's straight power, man. You push and it takes off. So those front wheels are just pulling at when you hit go. They do balloon a little, but everything stays down. It's so low, the center of gravity.
Does that ESC, that Spectrum,
Rich,
does it have a power level, like punch level? Like
Yeah, I set it all the way up to 5 for today's video and for the speed run.
It's
So,
just
it
weird.
did feel.
how are you, man? You missed Aaron here. RC Sparks was here today on live chat.
Hi guys.
Hey, Richie.
Hey, Richie.
Richie.
It's just weird. It's weird though that they came out with a. I know it's a bigger model, but it's weird that the 8S is actually slower than the 6S. I know it's
That's always the case because of weight.
Yeah, I know it's the weight and the size, like, but just
It comes down to whether you want big vehicles. So it's the same
Yeah.
thing with the Raminator. It's not going to go as fast because it's an 80-pound vehicle.
I would love to have a Raminator. Only I have a sedan. Where the hell am I going to put the Raminator in a sedan?
When you sell the sedan and you buy a cheap minivan, the money that you make from the sale can also go toward the Raminator. So
I looked at it and I thought, well, if I sell a few things, I could get 2,800, and I can just squeeze an 8SX Max in the back of my my CLA 45, and that'll just fit in. And even the Losi's a big squeeze, but there's no way I could fit that. And you need a pickup or something to fit it in.
yeah, or a minivan.
Yeah,
A hatchback.
But
I just refuse.
that one guy gets it in his car, right? The numbers guy from Mark? Hybrid. He gets it in his car.
Hybrid, you get it in his Prius.
Yeah, but Prius, those things, you take the seats down, it's pretty big in there. But
like that's Prius is like Brad said, that's hatchback.
Yeah, Priuses are pretty big. Like my
put a lot in
Fusion.
it.
Yeah, my Fusion.
There's also such a thing. There's also such a thing as a notchback, which is like a half a hatchback.
Sean was talking.
Don, what are you saying?
I said there's such thing as a notchback, but there's not many cars like that anymore.
What'd you say, Sean?
Oh no, I was just saying like the Prius is huge. Like my Focus or my Fusion, like there's no way you're fitting one of them in the back of the Fusion. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I would love one, like, because every time I'm driving by and they're test running them, I pull in and see them test running them, and things are monsters. But I'm like, I would need to go and buy a freaking a trailer just to haul it around, because I refuse to get a minivan. I think if I get a minivan, my life's over.
Hey, now, come on. You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth right now.
But
The Prius now comes with all-wheel drive. The Prius now has all-wheel drive now.
That Kia minivan is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Dude, don't get me wrong. There's some beautiful minivans out there. It's just something about it. I think if I get a minivan, it's like soccer mom can't.
That's
like,
it. That's what I'm saying.
They're not beautiful. You can't use those words in the same sentence.
No, but there actually is some of the new ones. Like some of the new ones actually are.
Yeah, it's practical.
There's already in them. Vacuum.
It's like Ford is stopping making. They're only making now what 2 or 3 what they class as cars.
Yeah, the Mustang. The Mustang is the only car. The Mustang is the only car they're making. They're making no more sedans or nothing. It's all
Trucks and SUVs.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen what the
Ford
new
cares about
Mustang
the environment?
Yeah, I was just going to say what Tank was saying about they've just announced this new electric SUV
It's
Mustang.
electric Mustang. An electric Mustang. It looks like a small SUV, and they're calling it a Mustang.
It's
That
the
thing
Ford
looks so
Fusion.
ugly.
Thing Mach.
Elon,
It's an electric Fusion.
Yeah.
Elon Musk Mustang. It's an Elon.
Did you
Musk.
see that Tesla truck though? They were talking
It
about
just
today.
got unveiled.
It just
Yeah.
unveiled it. Yeah.
Hey, don't forget that Toyota made a special Sienna that could haul around track really well too. So if you want to make your minivan work like a car, you can. So, Rich, how are you, man?
Yeah, good. I could have sold about 20 of those 8S Creightons today. I went in 2 different model stores down in San Jose, and probably like every other person coming in said, "Oh, there's a new Creighton come in. New Creighton come in." Yeah, but they were supposed to get them. Both stores were told they were getting them today, and then when they phoned to chase them up, they were told they were getting them tomorrow instead. But one of the stores didn't know they were even getting them, and I said, "Are you getting one like a demo model on Thursday?" A demo model, what for? I said, "Well, the new Armour that's coming out on Thursday." And we said, "Oh yeah. Well, they're not available for order yet." And I said, "No," because the owner wasn't in. I said, "You know, are you getting a demo one in?" And the guy said, "Oh, well, I don't think so. I'll check in a minute." Anyway, about 5 minutes later, he comes back looking ash and white and said, "Oh, we're getting 1 or 2 in on Thursday." Didn't know anything about it, and they didn't even know they were coming in.
My hobby shop said they were supposed to get theirs today, but they said that it's gonna end up coming there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you interested? Because we're gonna be probably limited stock at first. I say
This
yes.
first shipment's gonna sell out quick. That's what they're saying.
I know Rich is gonna get one. Rich is big Armour guy.
Was it Jason that was saying it on one of the posts I saw? He was saying that this is one of their best sellers so far, or something on or best releases.
Oh yeah,
launches or something.
Yeah, well, they did the right height for it, but from what I'm hearing online, a couple of people have put comments against the video I put up with that like 10 best points on it, or 10 things to be aware of, and it's not getting a wholeheartedly warm welcome online by a long shot. Not even from the diehard Armour guys.
Well, those are your least likely to be.
Yeah, but they're the ones
positive.
Saying
they're never positive. I don't like that group because of that.
The Armour fanboys, they're freaking crazy.
But the thing being, I said it when I saw it on that. I think I said in that spy shot I put up in your conspiracy group, Tony, with that shot I got at the back. I just kept clicking and pausing, clicking and pausing, clicking and pausing, and then it just suddenly came super sharp.
Yeah.
And that looks like a Creighton rear wing.
Yeah.
And, excuse me. That looks like an Armour Creighton rear wing. And
Richie's like Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
That's right, my friends. No, Mr. Button, I expect you to die.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Coppa this.
This is our.
Maybe I should put my hat back on.
This
is just gone to kid-friendly content right here. Kid attractive content.
There's a cat in the video. It's over.
Richie petting a pussy.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's gone.
Yeah.
More kid content.
That moment did
I'll
not last.
send it
very
later, Tank.
So,
now, guys, before Christmas, I want to send out these those red cap plastic things. I'm just trying to
yeah.
You finally got
on it.
It's a really stupid size. I sent Tank's going to get one, two, one for him, one for John. Sean, you wanted one. Steve wanted one, and I think I've got one spare. So,
well, I know Tony wanted one. The red cap
one, right? Okay.
Red cat. What are you talking about, Rich?
If
he
you
came
guys
on with
said-
a plastic banner that was so cool, like a 3D plastic logo.
That's a white cat, not a red cat.
Yeah, if you, Sean, I sent you an email just asking for your address, but you've not. So if you send your address back over to me, and I'll send the one over to you.
Oh, I didn't see that email. Richie.
I'll send it again because Tank sent your email, and I sent one to you. Well, it was a while back now, but don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
So.
And I can get in touch with you as well, Tony. Yeah. But yeah, I trying to find a box for them because it's like 2 inches by 18 in one direction, but then it's more than 12 in the other, which is like, do you think, because I thought to start with, would I be able to squeeze them in pizza boxes?
Just drive it down. I'll buy you a
Don't
coffee.
laugh. I was
beer.
thinking pizza boxes. I could go in the shop and say, you know, like, give one of the guys like $5 or something. They're going to give me like, but it's too damn. It's just it's pizza boxes about that size, and these are just like slightly too damn big. But I'll sort something out.
Yeah.
The deep
Hey, Rich, how you been, man?
You can just wrap it in bubble wrap and stick a postage stamp in the front of the bubble wrap, no?
And I'll send.
I think that might get destroyed.
That just send it like that.
Tony, I just was sorry I didn't interrupt. Don't want to take off subject, but I wanted to ask you what you thought of your microphone stand. It's the Yeti you're using, or the
blue one?
The blue one,
By
yeah.
Bluetooth. It's amazing.
It is, eh?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking
it's
at
worth a little bit more than the Rode.
But you're happy with
yeah. It everything hides inside. It all tucks in all of your
Yes.
cabling and everything. It doesn't work great with this Shure microphone because it hits the cable.
Mhm.
So at a certain point when you turn it, it actually you can't go beyond a certain point because it hits this knob, but
right.
It's usually not I've never found that to actually be a problem. So
Okay. We're upgrading our studio, and I'm looking at doing. I'm actually considering them. That's why. So that's why I had to ask why I had you on here.
yeah, there weren't a lot of great reviews on stands, and I just went with this because I was using my blue microphone back then, and
right
since then I've seen a lot of people use it, even with not blue mics, because just the way it's clean. I don't like that 2-pole one.
No, that's why I want to get rid of it. That's exactly what I want to do. So because
they work great, they don't look as clean.
We seen a guy who modified a TV, a monitor stand, and this is what we did here so far. This is our new studio. So we took I kind of went a bit further than what he did. It was a monitor stand for 4 monitors, and I modified it all to bought all new lights.
That's why your light looks so good right now.
Yeah, the flexible, and even got remote finally.
And I was gonna say you're doing HDMI camera in because you can tell just the difference.
It's clear.
And then I got the webcam up, like Tony was a guest of ours last year. So now when we do our interviews, the webcam's up. We'll just use that for Zoom because we pipe in Zoom through OBS.
Well, that stuff is worth more than a Raminator, it looks like.
Actually, a lot of Frankenstein, a lot of saving here and there. It wasn't too bad, actually.
The desk stands aren't too bad as far as price on Amazon.
The desk is actually an accent table from IKEA. We didn't want nothing as big as a desk, but we didn't want a coffee table.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a Frankenstein job. But yeah, it does the trick.
I love those curved screens, but it's PC only, isn't it? The one, because I wondered about getting one to see if it could get it to work with the Mac, but
that's a huge screen.
Yeah, the 38-inch LG, and they were $1,700 last year, and then they stopped making them, so they dropped to $900. And they didn't have any at Canada Computers here in Montreal. They said they had one in Kingston, Ontario, which is 250 kilometers away for $800 because it was open box. Ended up we were going to a New Year's Eve party the day after, so they held it for me. So I
like the rollout LED panels too. That's nice.
Yeah, they're about 900. They're about $900 in the local Microsoft stores near me. That they because the kids use them for the gaming. But I like the idea that you can have like your video up in one, and you can have emails up on the same page.
Yeah, I don't think though they're making the 38s anymore. I think they're going as high as 34s right now in the 21:9 ratio. That's
38 inches long. That one is?
Yeah, 38 inches. Yeah.
Holy cow!
But for our show, you know, it's like we have a lot of windows open for OBS and everything. Like when we have the wheel of shoutouts and stuff, it makes it so much easier now because I can have everything on. I didn't want 2 monitors, so this was my way of getting around it. That was kind of thinking.
How much do you think all that equipment costs?
The computer is $3,700. The monitor was $800. The mixer was $300. These mics are from Amazon, MXL 770s, and I love them. I love the sound. They got that kind of podcast.
MXL.
Yep.
Yep. They're nice.
You know, and they're not expensive. They're like $80 or something.
Yep,
like that.
they are.
So for
about $10,000 worth of equipment.
No, like the stand that's holding everything up, that was $60. I just bought everything last weekend. That's all new, the stuff that's on the stand. And I bought another one that was $30 just for the arm where the camera sits. I took everything else off and put it on there. And the stand that's holding the monitor, that was originally $70, but the arm fit on this one. So I put everything onto one tree. That was the whole way to have it, so it can go up against a desk, but still against a wall, but still have all the room to be able to have everything.
Yeah.
Looks
So
like-
did you just go like the Israeli arms that are holding the lights and everything? Did you just put those through a hole and put a nut on the other side?
Yep, just I bought like though they all had the fittings on those ones. They're like $15 a piece. Those arms, they're magic arms, so everything
Yeah.
moves when you unvice them. So I
Yep.
just reversed them around, and now
Yeah.
again, his mic is clamped, but as you can see onto it, it's just a clamp right now. But tomorrow I'm cutting out the pipe for it and putting it in the arm properly. I just took the
There's
Oh, sorry.
another monitor above the other one.
So, sorry, I cut you off. Sorry about that.
I said the looks like you have an area that you can put another monitor over the other one.
Yeah, you could if I wanted to, and that is something like because we'll have to put another one for her later on. We'll bring the arm out further because I bought another set that's sitting in a box for pieces, and then I'll extend the arm past the camera and put her monitor further to the end.
Yeah,
because like the end, it's just the Versa mounts that are gone on the last one where a mic is. So I'm just gonna put get the metal sleeving, put it through, run the mic in there, and then come up from the other side.
Just be careful that ugly mug shot on your screen there doesn't break your.
That was the test.
He was hiding it behind the microphone.
That's why I didn't want to go to the HDMI camera. It shows way too much age. I missed the C922. It was very forgiving.
It'll crack your screen, you know.
That's right. And we're so far so good, but I don't feel long term I'm safe. So
what I want to do with mine is above the monitor, put the webcam, and then have a monitor above that, because I find like I always want to do a second screen so I can point at stuff.
Right.
But I'm always looking over here, which just feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather look up here because I feel like you're still at least looking at the camera or toward it, even though you're looking above it. It just seems.
Especially because you're one person. That's the hard part with Xenia and I doing the show together. It's always the two of us. So that's kind of a bit of the trade-off. So this is as close as I get my. And the battery pack, we just bought the A6400. We just bought it like a month and a half ago, but it's working out great. Heats a little bit, but I got the fan behind. I'm going to put a better one that just heats the battery pack just to be safe. But
I'm feeling quite low rent here. This is my new toy that I got off of Amazon for a mere $19, but it means I can do the how-to videos
over the top, yeah,
and then straight on there. And it came with it's got the little screw fixing, so it'll take the GoPro in there. But it comes with the clap, with the phone mount on there as well, so you can put your phone in there, so it could stream live from it.
Overhead view. That's the one thing I need to add to my studio spot is an overhead view like that.
No, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at some of your stuff. I was looking at some of your stuff, Tony, and I wondered how he was doing it. And then I just Googled how to get overhead shots, and that was one of the things that came up.
You don't want to know how I had done it.
Yeah, got great reviews. Yeah, it seemed like some people had got some cameras. This was like a wire-mounted thing with two wires that was on Amazon, but it was like about $400. And I thought, well, that's like,
I had a big rail system that went over my desk that's used to hold up like backdrops, paper rolls.
Yeah.
And then I used basically like a bicycle clamp or whatever for the GoPro or phone that clamps around the tube. So it was above it. And so I had this huge brace that went over me just to hold a stupid iPhone above.
Yeah, it was some of yours that inspired me. And I thought, that looks much better for like with the how-to ones where you're working on something and then your hands aren't,
I have a boom mic, like when you have a microphone stand and then you have the boom.
Yeah.
That's what I have holding this camera up. So
like a C-stand almost. Yeah.
So I can bring it down. It's right. And it's actually pointing towards me. So I can turn it. I can do whatever I want with it. And then I just put it away when I'm done with it.
Or like your light kit, you've got that overhead light kit, and that would have a perfect adapter for doing that too. And you can put weight on the other side if you put a bigger camera on it.
Definitely.
I have an RC box and a tripod.
And the tripod falls over a lot during live RC talks.
Our first 60 interviews we did was on a Rode mic, and I had a little slip because I shoot with the DJI Osmo. I took the Rode and I was looking around for a stand, and I seen my Allen keys because I was tuning up my guitar. The ones that come in the brick. And I'm like, that'll fit. Clipped it on. We did 60 interviews with that Rode mic sitting on Allen keys like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
2 letters, Godzilla.
This is my baby now, right here. This is my new.
Oh.
Where is it here? So I can do like.
That's a soundboard.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's not scale. So you can program a whole bunch of stuff in. So at the beginning, I can just roll the sound with just a touch
Nice.
of a button, which is pretty cool.
That
You got
is
sound
awesome.
effects.
And it has a record right there, so I can do it right to podcast. Right from here. I don't have to take the video file, or OBS doesn't have to be saving to my computer the whole video. So
How
it's
much
been
is that
pretty
board?
cool.
That's
How much was that board?
I think it's $500,
That's not bad.
$600 maybe.
What
But it
a-
also
what a-
does Bluetooth. So it does Bluetooth in, so I can literally just connect to my phone. And there's like this app here. I won't Bluetooth it right now, but I'll do the. It also has a phone adapter, so you can plug in here, and you can like hit.
Oh, it's a little out of frame, I think.
There's an app on here that has like sound effects or whatever. Like,
That's what she said.
or whatever the button is. I guess that's what that means. Well, so
That
there
is
we go.
Awesome, man. Congrats.
Like the cursing button or whatever.
Yeah.
Sounds like a countdown sound.
So that's the fun stuff I've been playing with.
That's pretty sweet.
You just get it?
I got it a couple weeks ago.
Well, congrats, man.
I
That's
used
good.
my YouTube money for the RC conspiracies.
Well, that's what we've been
awesome
same
stuff.
thing exactly. That's what all this was built onto. Was as we were going on, we started upgrading and waiting for deals. And you're right, like a guy inspired me to do this. He did something like it, but I mean, he was spending a ton of money, and it's just, I'm not spending all that. So we looked around for decent lights. We don't need, So, unfortunately, I watch people sometimes. I swear to God, they spend 10 grand here just to get started on YouTube, and it's like, oh man, figure if you even like it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten letters from people. My wife was here; she'd vouch for us. I hit 700 subscribers. I love this so much. I just gave my boss notice. I'm quit. My last day is 2 weeks from now. I'm going to be a YouTuber. And my legs go like I'm feeling shake. Like you said about excited with the new RC, I feel like that way, thinking about what did this guy just go and do to himself? Does he have a family? Does he have this or that? And it is happening. It is happening.
That's where he drops in. And my new Lego videos are going really well.
Yeah. Exactly. Barbies are big right now, so I decided to jump in on the game.
Well, the real kicker is I just bought like all of the Spin Master toys, monster trucks to do videos on with my son. And so I've got a whole box of the little toy cars, the little toy grave diggers and all that we're going to do. We have like this whole game we play with them, like shuffleboard, but we tape off parts of the floor. And so you've got to run the little RC cars in. They're your little like, slider, and they're the toy trucks. And now I'm not going to do the videos because what's the point of bringing attention to the channel?
Were those whatchamacallit cars, New Bright vehicles?
No, they're Spin Master.
Oh.
So now that's the other thing is I have one of those Spin Master motorcycles that I'm reviewing, and I'm just going to mark that made for kids because it's Spin Master.
Yeah.
It's just sad that the gray area is so hard to define, because that's, like I say, once again, that's what I feel so bad for. Somebody will just get hit for doing absolutely the most innocent of things.
Yeah, because this is what I was saying. It comes down to it really doesn't matter what any of us think. If we think we're 100% compliant, if somebody, the FTC says, no, I think that could appeal to a kid for this reason, you're screwed.
Well, that's
it. But you have time. I think you get a warning to change stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wait for that warning at least. And then at that point, see if there's counsel that we can seek, because it really is, their definition is so vague that I don't know how they can prosecute.
Well, the only thing as well, the only way they could practically do it is using an algorithm, because there are so many million videos. It simply would be impossible for a human to scan them.
But the problem with the algorithm is usually where everybody gets hit for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
That's the sad, but that's the ones that usually get hit the most.
I'm driving home from picking Izzy up from school, and we've been chatting about this because she sees the video. She's got subscribes to like Nerdy Craft, a lady who reviews these craft kits for kids, and she's quite often a video of them giving the thumbs down. But she'll like pick something and she'll pick holes in it and then tell you the good bits in it as well. And her point of view is, well, my stuff is done focused on pointing it out to adults so that they'll go and buy the best thing for the kid. And I said, yeah, but Isabella, you're watching it and you're age 10.
Yeah. And
I said, that's part of the problem. And then Isabella comes out with a blindingly obvious thing. And she said, well, if they're targeting children with these under 13 adverts, with these children under 13, She said, has nobody taught to tell them that none of us 13-year-olds can buy anything by clicking through on those adverts?
No, but their parents can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they've got to go and get the parents. She's got a good point.
Yeah.
They're spending money.
It's usually not even
the clicks are wasted. You know,
not even the initial buy though. Like I think a lot of times that they're like they know, just like they on Nickelodeon stuff, they see it enough times your kid want to eat that cereal because of whatever. So, but I still think like I almost want them targeting ads for my children when it really comes down to it, because I don't want them watching ads that are geared toward adults.
No.
Like I hate watching football with them on a Sunday because I'm like, well, that's a really creepy and scary, advertisement for whatever TV show comes on at 10 p.m. on this channel. Like, I wish I could say there are kids in the room and it would feed me different advertising because we have kids in our house. You know what I mean? Like,
I know it's not a YouTube example, but my daughter was 4 at the time. She was playing on her computer. You know, one of those websites where it's just all random games. It's like Tetris and Twitter. You know, they're all cheap.
Yeah, there's ads all over it.
Ads all over it, but she was playing these games and she's all fine and dandy. And it was like match the picture, move them around. I'm gone for 5 minutes. I come back. You know what the game was? She had to put together a 9mm. The handgun's torn apart, and here she is putting in the clip and putting in the magazine. And I'm like, what in the hell happened?
And all that stuff.
Same channel, same site. It was just different feeds. Every time she tried a game, try a new one, and she was doing pretty good at it. I hate to say.
Yeah. If they could keep the advertising targeting for positive reasons, I can see benefit in it.
But that's where YouTube Kids years ago, if they had did it properly and really forced all the creators doing kid stuff directly at them to get over there, then they can wash their hands and say, listen, we've done our part. But
and they would sell advertising to the right people, and they could still make money based on views.
Yep.
The parents could sign them up for alerts and notifications. You know,
I would love my kids.
What they've done is they've absolved the parents' responsibility.
Yep. 100%.
And that I think is, again, the government. What do? They always overstep the bounds of what the people are doing.
So I said, from YouTube's perspective, the blindingly obvious thing to save the situation overnight is that to watch YouTube, you have to be a registered user. And to be a registered user, you've got to get some form of adult to certify you via, could be as simple as giving a credit card, something like that, to certify your thing. Okay, they take a big dip in the views to start with, at least they don't go bust, which is the potential that they've got to if it's...
we talked about that
the
other
thing is
night.
they still want to skate around the law, I think. And I think they just want to put it on us, knowing that we're going to say no and wait to see what the FTC does.
Because they had the offer to do age verification. They refused it. They refused it and went this route instead and put it all on the creators. The option was there from the FTC. They snubbed their nose at it right now.
Yeah.
My thing is the kids are going to watch it anyway. So even if all the family content disappeared, now you're going to have kids watching stuff they shouldn't be watching.
Yeah. And they have and their own release for the new studio that they just released has kids in the fucking thing too. Anyway,
yeah.
You know?
I saw on Kevin Talbot's video today, I've already done with the Armour Crichton 8S. He'd got on there a thing at the start. Please bear in mind, any toys, any cars featured in this video aren't toys that are for children aged 14 and above. On there, highlighting that. So he's obviously. That's not going to
make any difference.
No, it's not going to. No, I wouldn't even waste the time doing it.
Disclaimers on that, and even you see for copyright under Article 176, all disclaimers on YouTube are absolutely useless when it's been done. They have no bearing.
He could put that at the start, and the FTC could say, "Well, yeah, but hang on, it features you jumping over each other and kids laughing and things like that."
Well, what's crazy is, so we're all jumping over, head over heels over this COPPA law by the FTC for that. And yet we never talk about like the other FTC codes. Like when we get something like that, DBXLE is one of the, the cars that I've gotten for free, which, I always said it with GearBest. GearBest sent me this vehicle to review. It's not very often that Horizon sends me something out, but I said like blatantly, like this was sent to me, to review for you guys for free, so I was very clear, but there's a lot of people that do not disclose when they get free items. And that, the FTC is clear about that as well, that if you have any relationship with the person or whatever you're doing a review on or the content that you're doing, that you're supposed to disclose it. And so
if you read the YouTube guidelines on that, Tony, the YouTube guidelines don't read anything like that.
Yeah, one is this also.
Well, the YouTube's no. So YouTube's are only about whether you're sponsored to do something, because they can't have advertising for something that you're already receiving money for as a sponsored video. You're supposed to create it that way and label it that way, and that's a different thing. But so if you are being paid and sponsored to do a video for somebody, you're supposed to market a certain way, which then says people can choose whether or not they want to put their own advertising over something where you're already branding it for somebody else. And so that, you know, YouTube has guides on that, so you make less money and things like that through it. But no, the FTC states, I actually posted it in that video because that guy, you know, complaining about me getting something for free and not having a fair review because of that, gave me the opportunity to say it. And so I did post it. I just need to find that video because I wrote in the comments what the FTC actually says about it. So I'm trying to find that video.
Yeah, there's a lot of laws that are out there, but right now they're pushing this one because YouTube got busted.
Well,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's because this law's been around since '98, and then even as Aaron said in 2013, it actually got renewed again. Like, you know,
Even
I
the
didn't
old
know
term.
2013.
I was listening to this on the Izzy played a video through that when I was driving along in the car, and in 2013 the law checked the same 1998 law was amended to include cookies targeting the data from children under 13, and that's what's caused the YouTube problem. So basically, they've ignored it for 6 years.
What is cookies? Yeah. And so the one law says, in addition, so this is on their guide. In addition, the guide says, the FTC guide, if there's a connection between an endorser and the marketer that consumers would not expect, and it would affect how consumers evaluate the endorsement, that connection should be disclosed. For example, if an ad features an endorser who's a relative or employee of the marketer, okay, that makes sense. The ad is misleading unless the connection is made clear, because of course you're going to give it a positive spin because it's your family member's thing. It says the same is usually true if the endorser has been paid or given something of value to tout the product. The reason of obvious, knowing about the connection is important information for anyone evaluating the endorsement of whatever the product is.
Well, you could probably argue then every video the RC sailors have made for the past 3 to 4 years has been in breach of that then.
Well, it's not a breach unless you say that it's been given to you. And if they haven't, then yes, they are breaching it. Yes.
I mean, it says that they should. And so there's going to be, you know, there's probably instances where you don't have to. I don't know how it is. I just take the stance of, one, I would want to know, like if I'm a viewer, I would want to know that somebody got something for free.
But does the check mark in your setup when you set up your page if there's paid promotion in this, and getting a product is considered paid promotion? It falls the same as if they paid you for it. If you received a free item, you're still
because it's a gift.
Exactly. It's still considered paid.
Even though you paid for the last 2 vehicles.
Yeah, they didn't give you money for it, but they gave you the product is equal to being paid in YouTube's eyes. And another one is also for like even Amazon and that, you know, we used to, everybody, all those channels, you know, check out the affiliate link. That
you have to label it
too. You have to be very careful with, it cannot be a predominant part of your video, and you cannot put it a predominant part of your description. It's got to be locked down lower. If you put it,
when I read up on putting affiliate links on, when I read up in there, YouTube's a bit like, well, it's a good idea if you do it, but you don't really have to. You read the wording on it, it's very, very ambiguous indeed.
But it can
Amazon and them say you do have to. Amazon and them say you actually have to say near the links that it is an affiliate link.
Yes.
So you have to physically write it out by the link.
And by putting at the top of your description, which they all used to do. If you notice, all the big channels now have them down further after the description, because that was getting them some community strikes, because it was becoming the predominant part of the video by the affiliate links being at the top. So you want to do your description, talk some of your links, and put it down lower to the bottom to protect yourself.
There's a lot of rules, but we don't know because we just we're like, oh, we're just putting videos up. You know, we don't think about the contracts we're signing. We just say yes. Okay.
We're not an NBC show. There's not 300 people working on this. We're doing everything ourselves, and we're throwing stuff at the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. Exactly. We weren't all copyright lawyers. We weren't all directors in a past life and everything else.
And we're not doing it viciously. Like there's not intent, you know.
Most people getting taken down from anytime something happens here is once again that I brought up the example the other night because people have been asking, and I forbid people saying, "Oh, can you review my channel? Tell me which videos." No, because I don't know what even mine are at this point. You know, no, I don't know what to mark as kids or not because of the gray area into it. But like I was bringing up the example of like a chicken farmer. Say he does a video and he's talking about the stats. You know, we got 250,000 eggs. We're hoping for 300,000 this year. We built a new barn, new tractor. It's not geared towards kids. But then if he brings in the chicken and he spends 2 minutes out of 10 saying, "Oh, this is Mr. or Mrs. blah, 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 and she loves to lay eggs," and starts gearing it more with a chill, you know, with more. And if you look at the cues into it, it relates even if you're talking more towards children. Like, I don't want to say the term dumbing it down, but like talking more in a kid-friendly voice. What counts where you've crossed the line and gone into making it then a kid video, even if he's still talking about it? Same as if his kids walk by and say, "Hi, how are you, Dad?" on the way through. No. But if they stay for 3 minutes out of the 10 minutes, does that count enough as there was enough kids in the video to make it more likable towards children? And nobody can say 100% sure, but all like the same script, just changing who's there and what's done with it. What crosses a line? And yes, in theory, most of that shouldn't, but you got to fight it in the end somehow. And do you have the funds to do it, the time to do it? Is it worth it? Is it? Everybody's going to be so gun shy to put out videos. And especially I feel so bad for all you guys in the niches, you guys, the model train guys, drone guys. There's a ton of you that fall into that category. Funko Pops. I got a ton of channels. I got Disney channels where it's grown men that sit back and have a drink of whiskey and talk about every week, you know, about the cruise lines coming up where they're taking their kids. That's in a huge violation at this point because it's grown men talking with whiskey and they're talking about Disney. You know? It's just one gigantic, it's never been a grayer zone ever. But the problem is now this time money most likely will be involved for the first time ever where it wasn't. People used to be scared when these things happen. Oh, my channel might get taken down. I don't want to get a community strike. Now it could be a lot worse than that. It ups the ante into it.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, if you don't make enough, if you don't make money or not monetized, they will take your thing off anyways. That's what they're saying too.
Well, that's it, you know, because I know the 42,000 is getting shot around. Let's say it for the most part, that's going to be for a huge channel and direct violation, most likely doing kid stuff. But even if it's, you know, $3,000, it's still a lot of money. Most channels don't even generate that in a year's worth. Some are not generating anything, you know.
But I think Brock's right on there. The most common mistake out there at the minute seems to be people saying, "Oh, well, I'm not monetized, so I'm not worried about it." It applies to all content, whether you've got one video up or 10,000 videos up.
Monetization has nothing to do, and I get that all the time. You know, oh, well, I can play copyright music. I'm not monetized. Monetization has nothing to do with any community guidelines on YouTube. Zero. It's only to do with you getting a right to share some profit. Other than that, not much, mind you, but nonetheless.
You know, and here's something. Is it the 10th of December or is it at the 21st of December? This is all supposed to be kicking in.
Actually, the 1st of January.
This is January. I think.
It was the 1st of January.
I think you're thinking of the talks.
I was looking at the YouTube thing, and I couldn't remember the date, if it said the 10th or if it said the 21st.
That's for the talks with the FTC. I believe is the 10th of December. They probably make that number.
They'll pick one. Yeah, they'll pick one channel. And they'll try and make an example of one channel just to put the scare out among everybody. Like,
I would think if YouTube doesn't want to go out of business, they're probably working on something to go to the FTC and say, "How about if we do this?" Because they must be under so much pressure from like the big creators must be going into their account managers.
But you look at this point, like look at all the hunting the rifle.
I think
channel.
they saved the money up front with the plea.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. And there's so many channels and there's so many new coming, and it's just, and I'm sure they're saying this is getting rid of a lot of problems for us. Well, you know, they're cold to the whole idea.
You see, the thing being, some of these big channels that have got like thousands of videos out there, and a lot of those bigger ones for the kids' toys are like 15, 20 minutes plus long. That is using a huge amount of bandwidth for YouTube, and that still costs YouTube money to the tune of probably tens of millions a month on there. And they have this thing being that if your channel is no longer commercially viable, they can delete all your videos on there. So some of these big channels might be thinking, well, that's all right, we'll take a bit of reduced income. But if the bandwidth bill for that channel exceeds the revenue it's generating for YouTube, then YouTube will close it down because it's losing their money.
Yep.
Well, and I think that's to really target like scammers that come in and just download a whole bunch and upload a bunch, and they're just killing storage space with stuff that's not there.
No, it's not. No, I mean, that is moving forwards, Tony. They have said as part of these when the FTC change comes in.
I think, yeah, and I think for people that may be storing all their family home videos on there, eating up all of their data banks by posting up tons and tons of stuff that doesn't get viewed but 1 or 2 times, and they're having to store it. I think that's it. I think people that are actively trying to use YouTube as a way to actually share content as part of a community, I don't think we're going to see the strikes there. I think doing the wording so that they have the ability to be able to go after people who are violating, or in their opinion, they're costing them a lot of money to store their content, because people do that. People use these freebie stuff in order. Well, I don't want to save all my kids' videos on my computer. That costs so much money to have all the hard drives. I'm going to put it on YouTube.
Yeah, but
a nice safe space to store all this for 20 years down the road when they're adults. But they're not using it. They're just storing it.
No.
YouTube's got to hold it, and that's where I think that they're saying it's not going to be
no
viable.
Right. I'll explain on there. You've got somebody like Mariah Elizabeth who's getting several million views a month. At say 15 to 20 minutes per view. That is a colossal amount of bandwidth. For argument's sake, if that bandwidth bill for that channel is say 500,000 for the month,
but they're not monetizing the video.
Then they only generate with the drop in ad revenue that she's not going to get the targeted ads anymore. So instead of generating say 3 million profit for YouTube a month, that drops down to say 100,000 in revenue, if that's possible,
because she gets that many views but isn't making money. And
it's not they're not going to pay that channel. They're not going to lose 400,000 a month on that channel. They're going to say bye.
Hey, I got something now that I just had an epiphany on. Remember that 42-minute long one I had in the summertime? I don't think that's because they didn't want to do it because I put 42 minutes on their thing and I'm not monetized.
Oh my God, there's ones that have 12, 14 hours of live stream. If I can interject for one thing, my opinion, what screwed YouTube more, and they did it themselves, was the introduction of the 1K, 4K. That brought everybody off of Facebook, and every other gold rusher looking to make $1 million came on here. Reviewing channels, I wish I had a dime for every time I get a channel up with some guy with a yellow Mustang on his t-shirt, the dog crapping behind him, a grainy ass photo, calling himself a YouTuber now because they want to get to 1K, 4K.
And they got teenagers that are worth millions of dollars from YouTube, and they're driving cars.
It's a small percentage. We were reading up onto it. The average YouTuber over $1 million last year made over 17,000 US. Right now, it's still in like the 3 percentile of the 1 percentile making any real money. This has become the new basketball dream. This has become the new rock star dream. Just get on YouTube. Just get there. You're going to make money. And they have it in their head. I kid you not. I hear it every day that, oh my God, I need my 1K, 4K. I need it. Don't look at my videos. Don't judge them. I got great things coming. It's just going to get one because they're going to be rich. Once they hit 1K, 4K,
what is 1K, 4K? What does that mean?
To be monetized, 1,000 hours.
Oh yeah. They're just trying. I got it.
It became insane on here, and I mean the channels have closed. I see every day. I got live streams running 14, 16 hours, sleep screens, dark screens, not even there. Gone to work, letting their computer run. They need this watch time to become rich.
Some of these animal shelters that are the only ones that I've seen that are sort of I thought was a viable idea on there is where they've got like cat adoption places and dog adoption places, and they have the live cameras in there. And I could kind of see that working for because people can think
watch animals.
Is RC Beischer here tonight? He's gonna need our video.
Who? Good evening, ladies
and gentlemen. RC Beischer boy, he's gonna need our.
Yeah, but some of these people are doing them every day, 7 days a week. They're doing 8, 12, 14 hours, day after day after day. And like you were saying a while ago, somebody's got to pay for where this is all sitting. And it's all at 10, for 1080 mostly now. Back when YouTube started, you were lucky if you had a video 640 by 480. There's a ton of data got to be stored.
When YouTube, when the guys that started it sold out, and it was first bought by Google, I can remember reading in the UK, and they said Google must think it has potential because its bandwidth bill was running at over £1 million sterling when they took it over. And that was considered colossal at the time. And you think of how it's probably like 1,000 times bigger than when they bought it.
Oh, 1,000,000 times.
If not tens of thousands. So that bandwidth bill is still going to be still going to be huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's Google doing that with everything. Look at their new Google phone, where like they'll give you unlimited amount of storage and photos, but you pay so much a month. Like, you know.
I have one. That's what I'm using right now.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's a
And
sharp
that's-
picture from that phone.
that's the way it is.
The picture's really clear on my end. Yeah.
Because that's the way that's the way it is. Like the new Google phone too. Like, so.
I'm quite fancying the new Motorola Flip one. I miss my Motorola Flip phone terribly.
The motor.
I'm on the mobile.
You could drop it anywhere. You could get a signal even down in a subway station.
Yeah.
The new ones can't even touch them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
guys, it's 9:37. Let's do a round table. Say good night.
9:37. Were you in Canada?
11:37. Yeah.
Wow, where are you?
So been on for a little over 2 hours. So we'll go do a round table, and we'll start off with Brad.
Brad's on mute, I think.
Oh, Brad's on mute. Well,
Oh
yeah, your chance, Brad.
Thanks for the good conversation, people.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, Jams RC.
It was very interesting to hear what everybody's views and ideas and stuff about this COPPA. I think it helped out a lot of people.
Yeah,
We're
thanks a
still
lot.
scratching our head at it.
Trail Critter RC.
Thanks for having me, guys, and let's just keep doing what we do right now.
Yeah, and hopefully you stick around, because I know your video you were debating and things like that. So I
Yeah.
am gonna stick around. I'm gonna
Yes,
content.
stick around. No point going anywhere.
Yeah. Pusa Studio.
Well, I really enjoyed it, guys. I always thank you for having me on, Tony. You guys always have a great discussion. We were talking about it a lot in our channel the other night. We were going to use a thumbnail. We didn't want to look too insensitive, but this is what we were going to go with at first. So we're going to go with COPPA.
There you go.
Really good.
But we didn't want to. Figured I might get a bit too much hate onto it, so I didn't take a chance. So.
Oh, you should totally do it. You still need to do it.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be talking about it again. It's
I did the don't cop out over COPPA, and it was listed as not monetizable by YouTube, and I made him review it, and then they said it was. So
every time we talk about YouTube, we get limited monetization.
Yeah,
that's the word. It's great hanging out with you all. So good to see you, Tony, as well, and all you guys in the chat. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot for jumping in. Richie.
Hi guys, thanks for dropping in, and remember to hit the like and subscribe button for Tank's channel.
I do that.
Sean's RC adventure.
All right, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to stop in the chat and get involved in the conversation. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for jumping in. And last but not least, Tony.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. It was really fun to be a part of this, even though it's kind of a downer of a topic for us to have to talk about. I think that having Aaron on was awesome to hear his thoughts on it. You know, he's impacted more than most of us. So I like what he said about just keeping on, how he's going to mark his as adult videos. That doesn't sound right, but
Yeah.
so I'm sticking with that, with him, and with that theory, and going forward. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being in the chat. Thanks for having us, Tank.
Cool, thank you. I know I wasn't monitoring, well, I was monitoring the chat a lot tonight. There was a lot of chat going on, but we were so busy talking about stuff. I didn't really go in there and talk with you guys. Sorry about that. The discussion was just going on and was good, and I didn't want to break the momentum. So thanks for having you in the chat. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time on RC Talk. And if you have nothing going on tomorrow night, well, come over to Steve O'D's channels and chat with us tomorrow night. Talk to you guys later.